Hey guys, Restitution TV here. Not sure if anyone's following with what's going on in California, but you know, um, they have the mayor race for Los Angeles, and they have three candidates, and I'm sure you're gonna remember Mayor Karen Bass. Um, she's the one that was kind of how to say it. She's the one that was in charge of Los Angeles during the fires that happened in California, where people lost their homes, people died, and there was a little bit of controversy there going on because apparently firemen or fire departments were not able to get water because there was none. They drained the cisterns. I don't know what exactly they had in there, but it's sort of like everyone knows that California gets a lot of fires, so these were those pools where they would keep water in case of a fire, so they can use it. So first they were saying that there was an issue that water was supposedly drinking water, then it wasn't drinking water. Then they said that the helicopters could not get there to get the water because the winds were so strong. They had a hurricane there or something, or it was just bad weather with winds of over 80 miles per hour. And all of that got debunked. They basically said that the winds were somewhere like 30, 40 miles per hour, so it wasn't an issue. It would not have been an issue for a helicopter to go in and get the water. But there was no water. Apparently it was drained. And if you really follow the story, it almost sounded like it was drained on purpose to cause more and more damage. This should never happen. And again, I'm not saying this is 100% true, but like I always say, you got to think out of the box. And it would have surprised me, right? Because someone definitely gained out of that. Who I don't know. Well, sure. DOJ should definitely start digging in a little bit deeper there. And what drives me crazy is that this topic got kind of left alone, and it's not like you can forget about the people that suffer because of this. People lost their family members. People lost their homes. People lost everything they had. So it should be something that just should be let go. Okay. Anyway, I have this video here that we're going to react to, and now apparently, with this voting in California, and I guess I spent too much time talking about Karen Bass because the bigger waves that were made there was by Spencer Pratt and his crazy commercials. Well, not crazy, but very well made to kind of wake people up to see, like, these people don't care about you. These people in power don't care about you. And I will say it again, it's not about Democrat or Republican. In this case, Karen Bass is a Democrat, but they don't care about you. What was done out there is just, it should be investigated because it's extremely strange. Now, there's another candidate, I forgot her name, which was totally behind the entire race, almost like she was invisible. She was almost invisible when they had a debate. Didn't say anything interesting. Um, Basically, I don't think she would have been a good solution for Los Angeles. She would want to not change anything there more than anything. Although I'm not saying that everything she said was bad or negative, but you can't solve problems if you keep things the way they are and trying to invest in things that are causing the problem. And Spencer Pratt kind of stood out because he's talking about all the, drug addiction. Yeah, he wants to solve there. That people cannot take their children somewhere, in an area, I don't know, local Burger King or something, or not that you should be spending time at Burger King. It's probably worst food you can eat, but let's say just a restaurant because they have drug addicts walk around. Some of them, walk around naked. Some of them shoot drugs right in front of their families. You don't want your children to see that. So he kind of stood out for me when he said he wants to clean that up. And he said something very important, that it's not about treating these people bad and put them to jail. That's not going to solve anything. You need to find a way to treat them, because oftentimes all these drugs, they kind of mess with their heads, and they don't know what they're doing, or they're just helpless to stand, put their feet on the ground and fight against those drugs, because those things mess with their head. So he's talking about finding some sort of a solution where they can send these people to institutions where they can treat them to stay sober and away from those drugs, which is great. I think they should investigate that, and they should invest a lot of money into research for that, because these people are helpless. It's not that um, they don't care. Most of them, are people that tried something once and they got stuck. They can't get out of that loophole. And I would never want to be in their position. It's easy to talk about that someone's a drug addict, but no one understands the whole journey, right? That the best way to really stay clean and sober and not, get addicted to something, is to never take it. Anyway, we're gonna react to this video now, uh, when they're talking about, DOJ actually thinking about investigating this whole vote thing, because it's very strange, right? That they're counting this for so long. It's almost like all of a sudden Pratt was leading, but now he's not leading anymore because the other people catch up. It's strange. I don't know who would vote for that third candidate. You barely hear her making any waves. So, and they talk about, fraud and cheating, during these elections, and they're saying, obviously there's always fraud, and depending whether you can do something or not is how much of that fraud is happening. But if you really connect the dots with everything, is remember when they had ICE coming in and throwing out all of the people that came in this country illegally? Why do you think they wanted them here? So they can vote. That's the main thing. Now that they, got rid of a lot of them, Democrats have a little bit less of advantage. This is one thing that kind of makes me a little bit more disgusted towards Democratic Party, that they did this. It's obvious, okay, that that's the main reason why they wanted all these people in here. They don't want them here to be actually kind to them and help them because they want to help their families. They wanted them here to have the advantage, so they can cheat during times like this when people are voting. You don't, and you'll hear in a minute. California has the worst voting system. They don't even know who's voting. It doesn't require anything. Not ID. You can have a fake ID. I mean, you can have anything really, and you can come in and vote. They have no idea. They cannot tell you how many people are voting that shouldn't be voting or should not be voting. Anyway, let's listen to this.
Officials here in California still counting the votes and mail-in ballots.
Oh, sorry. Let me switch this to my sound core. Okay. Let's listen to this. This is by LX, Michelson. Kudos to him. Actually, we'll subscribe to him. Thank you for making this video, LX. And he's got his guest here. This is actually his whole source. This is where I'm getting this from. So really credit goes to him for this specific video here. But let's see what they say about this.
Officials here in California still counting the votes and mail-in ballots from Tuesday's primaries. California is known to have a drawn-out vote count as local officials work through millions of mail-in ballots. Some don't even arrive until after Election Day, although they need to be postmarked by Election Day. It could still be days before the race is resolved. Republican Steve Hilton currently leading by a narrow margin, but he's criticizing the pace of the vote counting.
This election is turning into yet another Democrat fiasco. It is a complete disgrace that now, nearly 2 days after the election, barely half the votes, just over half the votes, have been counted.
Do you believe anything nefarious is going on?
We're watching everything very closely. Our team is on top of everything. We've got lawyers standing by if needed. At this point, we haven't seen any need to intervene in that way, but we are very frustrated.
Meanwhile, President Trump is alleging, without providing any evidence, that there is, quote, big cheating in California. He says that that is under investigation by the U.S. Attorney's Office. So let's talk to the guy who runs that office. Joining us now is First Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Asaley. Bill, welcome back to The Story Is.
Hey Alex, how are you?
Good. So are you investigating voter fraud?
Well, I'm not going to comment on any specific investigation. What I will tell you is that we do monitor and we do look for fraud in every election. This is no exception. Any election that has a federal candidate on it, we do monitor and we look for fraud. And there's no question there is fraud in every election. The question is how much fraud. We know that California, there's been many people prosecuted for illegally registering to vote or not being qualified to vote. And the response is always, it's not widespread. And the problem with California, to be frank, our system sucks. It really does. We have universal vote by mail. We have no voter ID. And that is a recipe for fraud. And it makes it almost impossible to know how many people are eligible to vote in California. We've tried hard to audit the voter rolls. We have sued the state of California. The federal government's entitled to review those voter rolls, and they have stonewalled us. That case is before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals as we speak. And so we'd like to audit it. We want people to have confidence in these elections.
But let's be clear. The President of the United States said that there's cheating going on in California. Do you have any evidence that there is cheating going on in California? Certainly cheating big enough to turn the outcome of one of these elections.
Well, those are two very different questions. Absolutely, there is evidence that people are cheating, 100%. We have multiple investigations into people who voted who should not have voted.
Are there any people in particular? Are you bringing any?
There will be charges. I'm not prepared to announce them yet, but we do have open investigations into voter fraud. There's no question that there's voter fraud in California. We just prosecuted and announced charges against one individual about a month ago who was registering homeless people to vote in downtown LA. She was paying them to register at false addresses to vote. So there's no question there's voter fraud. The question that you said is very important. Is it widespread? Will it affect an outcome of election? We don't know. The system is not designed to detect or prevent fraud. The system sucks. And the president is frustrated, as are we. I was very outspoken about this in the legislature. Yeah. And the legislature doesn't seem to care. But I think voters will have a chance to potentially change this system in November. But that's up to them.
Okay, and just one more time. When he says that there is cheating and that there's an active investigation into that cheating by your office, can you confirm that?
I'm not going to discuss any specific investigation. I will tell you that we do have, in general, we do have investigations, and we are looking to charge people relatively soon for election fraud.
Okay, let's talk about something that you are prepared to talk about,
yes.
and a case that just happened yesterday. Really an extraordinary case in Orange County of an Iranian-American dual citizen who was living in a 30...
Okay, now they're going to talk about a different topic, but you see how Alex is actually pressuring him to give him an answer. He can't really give him an answer, right? Because it's part of the investigation. But he clearly states that there is cheating. He's not giving him names because he can't. I mean, this is where people need to understand. You don't. Do you really need exact names of someone to be convinced that there is massive election cheating? No, you don't. They know about this. Come on. I mean, you're gonna sit there and tell me you have no idea this is happening. You're going to sit there and tell me you have no idea that this is happening. He clearly stated that the system is terrible. In fact, it works for cheaters more than anything, and it's impossible for them to identify some of those things. So I don't know if you remember, but I think there was something similar going on in Arizona. I forgot who was running in there, a couple people, but they were saying the same thing, that there was this cheating going on in there, and everyone kept saying, "Oh, but there was no cheating. There's no cheating. There's no cheating." You know, it's like it's a made up stuff, made up thing that there's nothing to look out there. People had actual evidence where they had video footages of, let's say, one guy coming in there with a bag of ballots and just dropping them in, into the ballot box. And this was the same guy going over back and forward multiple times to different locations. Some of them were the same, and just literally grabbing ballots and dropping them in there, in a drop of ballot drop of boxes, and I had a video of it. And that video evidence was not accepted by the court. It was not accepted by the court, and this is what's strange, right? Because video is the fantastic proof, because a camera is not going to lie. Um, and again, this is not just one footage. They had they had video footage from totally different locations, different people, and so forth and so forth. And when they were fighting this, they brought that over to the court, and it wasn't accepted as evidence. So you tell me if there's something weird going on or not. In fact, I think, and we talk about the same location in Arizona. They brought on an expert, some guy that was a cybersecurity expert that worked previously for a company like Lockheed Martin, um, and he clearly stated when they were fighting this in the court that they changed something in the voting machines also. They modified the image or something. They did something. There was clear tampering with the machines, and yet he was the expert. And then they go ahead and they were asking, similar questions to some guy that did not have the expertise. He just spoke that he doesn't think that happened. And they didn't really accept his, I don't know, somehow that his expertise was not, he investigated that and he came to a conclusion there was tampering with the machines. And that was not accepted. So I don't know, man, we're living in really strange times, and it's very difficult for some people to accept that something like that is wrong. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle are you. Republicans would have been doing this. You gotta say the same thing. It's not the right thing to do. It's a bad thing to do. It's not good for us as citizens, because if this is the way we're going, they will be able to just flip a switch and get themselves elected whenever they feel like it. Like this privilege of a American vote is disappearing very quickly. It's getting eradicated in a pace that we cannot comprehend. Um, it's a right that we have the right to exercise, and rights are like muscles. If you don't exercise them, you lose them. And I think this is where we're heading. We're gonna lose that right. We already lost that right, because if they're doing things like that, we did, actual people did not vote for these individuals. So it's a scary thing. But anyway, again, we'll see what happens. Again, it's very strange to see them count those votes so slow. It's strange to see everywhere on certain news networks that this guy Pratt is leading, and all of a sudden he drops the ball, and he's not even considered anymore. He got outpaced by that older woman that no one heard about by big chunk of a percentage there. So anyway, that's all I want to share with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz. It will help me very much. I'm trying to grow this channel, so I appreciate if you could do this for me. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day.